Alright, this is like my 80th time, like literally my 8th take of trying to do this, so we're going to try to condense my feelings into a short little snippet before we get on with the video. So, here is that. Reason 1, the story was not good. Dying Light 1, I think, had just a slightly better story. Like, I'm not saying that Dying Light 1 is an incredible story or even a good story, because it was linear storytelling and not based on choices. It just flowed better, you got back to the gameplay better. The Dying Light 2 story has nothing but exposition dumps. The story doesn't engage me that much. It's badly paced. It has a terrible ending that just comes out of nowhere, it feels like. And I don't give a f*** about any of Aiden's motives. I really don't. At least Crane had to become part of the survivors in the first game, and he was invested in it. The second game, it just feels like I'm doing a bunch of bullshit that doesn't matter until eventually I fall into finding Aiden's sister, and it's just annoying. It's not great. And because of that, I just didn't like recording it, so that's why we're just spark noting the story. Another thing is, you can read the about on my YouTube channel. I talk like there's more than, you know, like just like my friends and family watching, which, hello everyone. You know that I pretty much just do this because I'm not trying to get famous or make money or whatever. I'm just doing it because I like video scrapbooking and recording funny stuff with my friends so I can come and look back on it later. I couldn't do that with this game because it ran so bad, it's so poorly optimized, that recording it, you've seen the videos before this, it runs dookie doo-doo water, even in single player. And the recordings get pixelated sometimes just because it records poorly, because the game runs poorly. And because it ran poorly, trying to play it in co-op and record at the same time with the bad netcode and the already buggy game, it wasn't happening. And because of that, I just don't have any interest anymore in editing these videos because it's not fun for me. It feels like I'm slogging through the videos just like I'm slogging through the game. It feels like I'm having to re-drag myself through the game just to find the good parts. But there's not a lot of good parts because solo play on that game is only as interesting as the story and the gameplay. And I just didn't talk a lot when I was in the gameplay bits because it was like, at first I played the game a lot and I ran around a lot, but mostly it was just me sprinting from A to B because, like I said, the story wasn't great, and because of that, me just sprinting A to B silently across a buggy game by myself just isn't that interesting to either me or I'm sure everybody else. So I think that's another good reason to just, you know, cliff notes the story. Another reason that I didn't get as interested in this game is because I feel like they neutered zombie combat, like the traversal elements they added, and the traversal props, the way you fight humans and stuff. All the additions there were great, but zombies got so many extra animations that it made them feel not ragdoll or not tied to physics, and at certain points they really weren't. I mean, I would kick a zombie off the roof and he'd be locked in an animation, so he'd Looney Tunes and float in the air for a second before realizing, oh, I actually have to listen to gravity, and then he falls. Cool. We would get lost. Me and Robot would get lost in the first game just fighting hordes of zombies because they were fun to mess with, and that's just kind of gone in this game. Like, they can be fun to mess with, but most of the time the ragdolls are like on kill hits. It's just not as fun. The body destruction's not as fun, the ragdolls aren't as fun, it's just not as fulfilling, so you just end up running through the game more, and it just bogs it down because they killed some of the sandbox element behind animations, trying to make the game more cinematic, but it was already perfectly cinematic to begin with, and that's just silly to me. So yeah, I guess we're gonna story beat it here, and then we're moving on because, yeah, I have other stuff I want to do and mess with, and I want to clear up the 200 gigs of space in my computer of this game. But yeah, as for what's coming in the future, I got Goofy Kingdom Come Deliverance clips that are just floating around that I'm going to be putting together. Me and Robot are playing through Halo Master Chief Collection. He's never played any of the Halo games. That should be good to hear his commentary on what he thinks the world of Halo is like. Still got Phasmophobia stuff, still playing Phasmophobia, record stuff like that all the time, but yeah, we'll just see where the road takes us. Yeah, we're cutting our losses, so here we go. So you may or may not have noticed, we are now climbing that water tower from the last video, and guess what? It's rigged with bombs. Jack and Joe, the bandits that kidnapped Carl, had the crazy outpost and stole the crystals. Rigged it to blow. I guess in some kind of Bonnie and Clyde, if I can't have it, nobody can have it kind of situation. I don't know. I told them I'd help them to calm them down, but I actually don't plan on doing any of that. After that, I gave the control of the tower to the survivors. It gave me parkour traversal elements, but didn't impact the story whatsoever. After that, I go back to Sophie and Barney's little hideout to investigate their hideout, and Hakan goes in first and clears the way, and then after tells me it's clear, I go in and lo and behold find Lucas's little fucking skin tag shit, and it's very clear that Barney's the killer, except it's not, and this is me going on a little rant right now about who I think the killer is. I'm gonna tell you right the fuck now. I just figured out in my own head who the fuck killed Lucas. I just figured it out. That's easy. You know who killed Lucas? I'm gonna pause. It was fucking Hakan. And let me tell you why it was Hakan. Hakan came here. He came here before me to check it out to see if the coast was clear. So that means Hakan killed him. He also knew exactly what the Lazarus was. Hakan killed him, and he's framing these people. Hakan's a big baddie. I can already just feel it in my bones. He's a bad. So after begrudgingly agreeing to help the survivors, I go and blow up a windmill. Twice. Oh, and Albert died. After that, I went back to the bazaar, found Carl dead. Turns out he sold the survivors out, I guess, to the PK, and then I dealt with the PK in the bazaar. After dealing with that minor hiccup, we get a call from Hakan. He's told us, guess what? It's time for us to move through the tunnel, get to the other side now that the PK are distracted. He catches an arrow to the fucking chest and gets pressed. Well,
where are we
turns out, I was right. Hakan is the killer.
Max, you're gonna pull through. What's that? The wound from the Lazarus?
No point denying it with this wound, right?
So you carved out his tattoo and planted it on Barney.
Waltz, he ordered the kill.
You're working with Waltz and you didn't tell me? You piece of shit.
So I decided to help Rakan out and save his life for saving my life in the beginning of the game, because that's only fair, and I went after the sniper, and it was the pizza lady from Men in Black. She fucked off pretty quick, actually. I don't know where. After dealing with that, we get fucked over by Sophie. She's not going to help us get to the center, but guess what? There's a tunnel that Hakan was going to meet Waltz in with me so he could fuck me over, so we go there anyway to just kind of kill two birds with one stone, right? Like maybe find Waltz, maybe get to the center, who knows? All I know is that Aitor's pretty pissed about the whole windmill thing, but I calm him down so he can help me find Waltz in the tower after I fill him in about the whole murder situation. Our sweet little impromptu alliance is short-lived though, because when we do run into Walt, he beats the shit out of us. He also takes the GRE key from me. And then I go sicko mode and kill a bunch of boys and pass out again. Wake up on a bridge, head to the car park, sneak around in there a little bit, and then I try to sneak attack Walt. That doesn't go well. He's super strong because he's even more sicko mode than me. He recognizes who I am.
Aiden, you're alive.
And as me and him are having a nice little heart-to-heart conversation, remember that sniper lady from 2 seconds ago? Yeah, she fucking gats him. Comes out of nowhere. Don't know why. Alright, so now that that has happened, he's pretty pissed off. He didn't like that, and now the Pizza Men in Black Lady and I have to get the fuck out of here, because this dude is now chasing us to the ends of the earth to get this GRE key back. After the Pizza Lady tells me we gotta skedaddle, we take off into the metro station area, you know, the tunnels, underground, and narrowly escape this idiot from tearing us up. Cool beans. So right around now we find out that Waltz has like a fucking agreement with electricity, or he's like Static Shock, the old Cartoon Network superhero or something, because he can just will the power back on. So regardless of how he did it, yeah, the power is on now. But it also leads us to the worst dialogue, in my opinion, in the game. And it comes from Lawan, the character I hate the most.
Yep. That's why I come here when I'm pissed off.
Lawan and Aiden are supposed to be near the same age, in their mid-20s. Rosario Dawson, the actress that plays Lawan, is in her 40s. So why the fuck is she written and acting like a 12-year-old who just learned the word piss? This was a bad casting call. That being said, the power's kind of unstable because it's like a 20-year-old, like, unkept system. And, well, you know, it's a video game, so naturally it is 110% my problem getting this fucking place running, and I'm not the only one. The PK want it running too, as do the Renegades. I gave it to the survivors. Also, it would appear Aiden is Nikolai Tesla, because apparently I just unlocked the hidden skill for firing up a whole goddamn city block. Like, I don't understand that one. So after that, Levon invited me to the fisheye and introduced me to some guy named Dan something. I don't remember his name. He was speaking a different language, and I thought we might have been cool at first, but then he started doing it in an angry fashion, and I decided right then and there, fuck that guy. After having Danier, that's his name. After having Danier go fuck himself, we went to go talk to Frank. He's an alcoholic. Apparently he's got a fake leg, but you'd never know it. Apparently he led the Night Runners before they did some crazy bullshit and bum rushed the TV station tower place to try to, like, jack it for a radio signal, and everyone, like, fucking died somehow, I guess. And yeah, that's about the gist of his whole backstory, and pretty much he told me to fuck off and go be the PK's problem, so... Wouldn't you know it, because the universe entirely revolves around my entire existence, the minute our conversation with the drunk man Frank ends, we get absolutely slammed by the Renegades. They even have cannons, and somehow I'm the only one in this town that knows how to free run, so naturally going in, disarming them all falls into my hands. I'm pretty much turning into John FedEx running everyone's errands here. Now, naturally, Frank is too drunk to be able to save his own life, so Lawan does it for him, and right after that, we meet the commander of the PKs. This guy goes by the name Jackamat, and Jackamat tells us we need to go see Ro, because apparently he knows where we can find the GRE facility needed to unlock the secrets of my life, or whatever. So I go to find Ro, and end up having to fight through a horde of renegade boys to get to the top floor where he's being attacked by renegade boys. Turns out he's fine. After that, Ro tells me where I need to go is this old clapped out observatory in the middle of the chemical bomb zone, and you know, the problem there is that it is an old and clapped out observatory in the middle of a chemically bombed zone. Luan's pretty sad about that. I don't care. I think I like Luan less than I like Raheem, and that's saying a lot because the entirety of the first game's videos, I shit on Raheem. The beauty of this situation is that Luan no longer wants to come to the old clapped out observatory with me, and that's fine with me, but the problem I have is as soon as I go to the clapped out observatory in the chemical bomb zone, I pass out due to the chemicals from the chemical bomb zone. Who could have seen this coming? My current favorite inside joke between me and Robot that has come out of this game is instead of calling it Dying Light 2 Stay Human, it should be called Dying Light 2 Stay Conscious, because it's a far harder fight to stay conscious than it is to stay human in this game. I also at some point went and checked out the PK's base because somebody mentioned a library there, and that turned out to be the best possible tip I got in the whole game because I met the love of my life for the rest of the playthrough, which was only a couple more hours.
Hi, Aiden. I'm Thalia.
And I got caught skipping onto the old dusty trail. Shit. After the Talia adventure, I decided I was going to get along with the main quest line, so I went and talked to Jack Matt. And he wants me to run to the top of the VNC tower in order to turn on the radio for him, and in return he'll find me a GRE scientist to get me to a different facility so we can find out what happened to my sister. Now, I'm not an idiot, alright? I already know that Frank's whole Night Runner crew died in this tower. But I'm also just better than their whole ilk, so it really doesn't matter that they died in the tower, because I know I'm going to breeze through it. So I agree to it, but he wants me to get some lights from Juan Raynor, and he's just this eccentric quarry master type who supplies the PKs, and I hate him. So I convinced him to be a buddy with us, but then I made the mistake of telling him that I'd help him, and he wanted me to go to some church to get some bug made, and that was a whole headache. So I got the bug made, and yeah. That mission was about a 30 to 35 minute mission because of some different glitches within the mission. Keep that in mind for later, that was about 30 to 35 minutes. It's important to think about this fact later. Anyway, after the bug's all squared away, Juan promises to have the lights ready for the tower, and then I go and meet Juan and Jack Matt and Ro at the fisheye so we can talk about our plan to take the VNC tower. After that, I tell Lawan about it, and she's pretty pissed because that's where the Night Runners died and a bunch of nasty volatiles and shit live there. Frank is indifferent / pissed because of the same reasons, and I don't like them both, so I'm going. So I get to the VNC tower proper, and that's when Ro decides that he wants me to go and check on the boys to make sure the power's all squared away. It's not. This guy died. Don't really care about him. After that, I went upstairs to meet with him and the boys, and he tells Jack and Matt, guess what? I'm going. You can get over it. We all go up to go try to get to the top of this tower and get stuck and get off the elevator, so we have to hoof it, and everything immediately goes to shit. Ro dies, and I'm stuck here. And this is probably the best acting you're going to get in the whole game, by the way.
Aiden? Aiden! I've got Frank here. At least what's left of him.
Aiden, where are you?
The 30th floor. The infected. They blew up.
Fuck it, I told you.
Frank? Wait! Where are you going?
He's as good as dead, Luan. I'm sorry. This is where I lost all my Night Runners. I'm not going through that again.
He's not dead yet. He's there and he needs you.
He needs a coffin. That's what he needs.
Frank, you smelly old alcoholic cunt. Why don't you fucking get a grip on yourself and step up for once?
So after a little bit of badgering, Frank finally let me know where I could find this sweet-ass grappling hook. And I decided, hey, I can't let you go unthanked for your, contribution to my success. So, I thanked Frank.
Fuck you, Frank. We're done here. I'm going up.
And then after that, I started my ascent onto the tower here. I'm gonna be real with you. I love climbs like this. I'm a sucker for this shit. I loved it in Dying Light 1. I loved climbing the antenna tower. I loved climbing the bridge. I loved climbing just about everything. Rises Tower, it's all super fun to me. I love that. I eat that up every time I play parkour games. And the beauty of it is that this game just looks super good when it wants to run well, and so you have this really nice climb. We get to use all the sweet new traversal elements from the parkour system upgrades, and it's just like, oh man, the grapple hook, the bar swing, the monkey bars, it's all so good. I genuinely enjoyed the fuck out of this climb. Anyway, I'm off track. Back to the story. So Frank's bitching at me the whole time. He says, Lawan came to help you. Why did Lawan come to help me? What did I do to give her the impression we're friends? I don't even consider us agreeable acquaintances. I don't even think she could be my peer. She's not even my equal. And she's like risking her life for me? Whatever. I get to the top. It's a bunch of radio equipment. I'm just about to throw the little bug in for Juan. And that's when Frank goes, all my friends died. So we can come take this radio tower for radio-free Bellador, brother. Yeah, brother. We're gonna play sick tunes and maybe tell people where the food is for food shelters and how to not die. And I'm like, bro, the second I heard Gorilla Radio, I was all in. Pushed all my chips to the middle of the table. That's my bet. Remember what I said? Hey, this 30-minute mission, make a note of it. Guess what? This single choice threw all that out the window. It completely made that a waste of time because I never used the bug. After we flip Frank over the radio controls, Lawan finally shows up and tells us she took the super secret special route to get to us. I don't know what the fuck that means, but now she's complaining that her shoes are ruined and we need to get her new shoes. I'm gonna save you the time. She basically cons us into going to her old apartment where we happened to stumble upon the information that she was dating Hakon, which she probably wanted us to find anyway. And yeah, so now we know she was dating Hakon, and that's the gist of that. So I met up with Frank because Frank told me now that we have control of the radio tower, we can listen in on the Renegades. We get the inside scoop, little inside trading action. So Frank tells me, go set up this radio tower, we'll spy on the Renegades, we'll go and check out what other hideouts for information, because Walt has to be looking for the same database I am, otherwise why would he be here? Concurring with that deduction of Frank's, I went and did everything he just told me to do and ended up getting ambushed. And then after getting ambushed, he showed up in person to tell me, yo, Hakon, he wants to meet with ya. Go see what he wants. Also, tell Lawan to give up the kill list shit and be merciful to Hakon. And I'm like, yeah, okay, dude, whatever. And I go on my merry way to go meet Hakon at some church. So I roll up to the Hakon meet, like a back alley drug deal. I start talking to him. He wants the GRE key. I tell him that's not gonna happen. He tells me that it is going to happen. And then he yells,
Get that fucking key from him.
After that, I kick his ass into the dirt. He's not allowed to have my key. Not today. Not in my good Christian suburbs. So, not entirely unlike Herman, I was fairly certain I just fucking killed this man, and yet... How are you
Taking that
alive?
key, Aiden.
Anyway, I decided that I wanted to tell him that we don't need to continue fighting, and after the second or third time, he took me up on that offer. Just in time for Lawan to come down and try to actually kill him, but I remembered what Frank said, and I channeled my inner conflict resolutionist and told her to grow the fuck up and not kill this man and forgive him. And she did. So after we resolved Hakon and Lawan, and I just now realized that rhymes and I hate it. Now that we've resolved Hakon and Lawan's lovers' quarrel, it's time to get back to the meat and potatoes of the game, which is going to talk to Frank because he's reforming the Night Runners. And he's letting Lawan join. And Hakon came back, because apparently everyone's just cool with him now. Here, however, is where things start to take a turn that I don't want them to take, which is the game is trying to shoehorn me into a relationship with fucking Lawan. And no matter how hard I try, there's never really a good answer to pretty much tell her I don't fucking want to date her. So we're going to leave that thread unpulled for a little while and see if it resolves itself. Moving on, Frank's got some more info for us. He's got a beat on that GRE doctor. So we go to the bazaar to find her, and it was the girl who was patching Barney up way the fuck forever ago when he got, messed up when we saved him. Anyway, turns out Vincenzo, or whatever the Craftmaster's kid's name was, took her to some safe house, and I went there, and it got, ramsacked, so I went to where she was actually hiding now, and she helped me by giving me some kind of weird boosty shot that's gonna get me through the chemically bombed out zone near the clapped out observatory tower, because guess what? We need to go to the clapped out observatory tower in the bombed out chemical zone. Upon getting there, we go into the observatory ourselves, because apparently she's got some kind of cool super secret engine she can take now that we're, running the generators for her. And we get her into the base the easy way for her and the hard way for us. We get her into the base, and, it's kind of weird that she knows her way around, but according to her, she just, sees everything one time and can remember it, and she's been here once or twice, and that's cool with me, I guess. But what ends up actually happening is she is the person who pretty much ran this building. They got trapped in here during the outbreak, and she just kind of got out and pretended to not be a GRE doctor to not get lynched, and she's the reason all the anomaly areas exist or whatever. But after her bundle of lies comes flying down in a spectacular fashion to the real world, we decide to ignore the rest of her lore and go into the deeper part of this place to find the GRE database. We find out that our sister just has no records about being in there, and that we were in there and had the best response to Waltz's little inhibitor program. Waltz ends up coming here to fuck with us, and we can't have that, so we try to escape. But then he ends up giving us a big chase again. And after the big chase, I'm trying to get out of here with the lady. And then I end up just tearing the lady to shreds, because that's just how inhibitors work, I guess, for some reason. I'm slowly turning into what Waltz is, and he takes off with the GRE key. And remember when I said this storyline goes off the fucking rails? Here comes the train derailing right now. You see that? That's a missile. That's gonna fuck our shit up, but we're not actually gonna die somehow, and neither is Waltz. Following our brush with death, Lawan's able to pull us from the rubble, and when she does that, we go and meet with our boy Frank here. And Frank's gonna go ahead and tell us, hey, guess what? Some crazy shit's going down. Missiles are going to be coming down everywhere. The Colonel wants to meet with us, the leader of the Renegades, finally. We agree to that. That goes shitty. Frank gets fucking gatted immediately. So I say Frank, and then we find out pretty quickly that Jack Matt was the guy who definitely poisoned Frank. So while Frank's recovering, Jack Matt, the guy I suspect has shot and poisoned Frank, asked me to infiltrate the Colonel's area and take him the fuck out. So I blow Jack Matt off and go to actually talk to the Colonel instead of kill him like Jack Matt wants, because Jack Matt's trying to, you know, make him look like this bad guy saying he shot Frank. Turns out, the Colonel didn't shoot Frank. He tells us as such. He wants us to help him stop X-13 and all the rest of the missiles, and Jack Matt's just out here playing idiot games. So we decide to help the Colonel, and we're going to go back and find X-13 and stop this whole thing from getting way out of hand. Meanwhile, though, Jack Matt tries to stop us again. All the Night Runners come out. They're like, guess what? Back the fuck up. They don't want to, but the missiles blowing everything up makes everyone kind of fuck off. And then Hakan hits me with this line.
I've missed your poignant soliloquies, Hakan.
You'll get bored with them soon enough, I bet. I'll bring some antis in. Should come in.
Antis in?
I'll try and find the tunnels that Waltz went through. You stay on the radio at all times.
Sir, yes, sir.
Oh, that's a throwback. That shit's like fucking 20 years old by now, isn't it, Kate? So we take a nice step back in time to the 1930s, because we just stepped into the goddamn Dust Bowl trying to look for the entrance to X-13. We find it, conveniently enough, in the crater of the building that first missile in the town leveled, and we just mosey on in. After getting inside of X-13, guess who we see? Aw, damn, there's Waltz. Eddie's got a lady. Bet that's Mia. So this is the part of the really rushed ending where they start to kind of retcon it a little bit too much, because suddenly Aiden's remembering all of his memories he's been remembering all game, but now they're different, and he misremembered a little bit, and it turns out Waltz is kind of nice, and it kind of seems like it's a little bit like lazy writing, and the neat part is that it's really bad. And with a crazy turn of events that shocks absolutely nobody, Lawan has volunteered herself for a mission that has asked for 0 volunteers, yet again, meaning she now gets to puppy dog me around. But that's kind of a good thing, because we get ambushed quite a bit here, and she takes a bullet for me, and it's the best thing she's done all game. We also found out that there is a treasure trove of survival supplies down here, and that Waltz was going to, I guess, stay here with Mia? So we're back to retconning Aiden's whole life, which is Aiden is an unreliable narrator, and now when we're looking at his memories, Waltz is super nice. And it turns out Mia's not our sister. She's Waltz's daughter, and she has some disease that the inhibitors are supposed to help. Even though this disease is not at all mentioned throughout the entirety of the game, beginning, middle, or end until the very end, and you still have no idea what she has, even by the end of the game, because it's not even explained what's wrong with her. So we catch up to Waltz and presumably Mia in order to, you know, stop what's going on. And Mia is just barely clinging to life from what it would seem. And Waltz is doing the final showdown walk. And we go and confront him to find out what is wrong with Mia. And rather than telling us what's wrong with her, he just tells us that, you know, she's not our sister, like we in fact had thought. And he actually was the one that Aiden promised to not let down.
Will you cure her?
I'm doing what I can, but she's weak. Much weaker than the other children. That's why she caught the virus. But you can save her, Aiden. Unless... You see, people want to stop my research. They can't see how close we are to finding a cure. Whatever happens, we must.
Whatever happens, we must stick together.
No.
You didn't promise her. You promised me.
No.
What?
No.
That's right, any of you who thought you had a reason for doing the story at all, get fucked. You're a fucking idiot. You should have never come here because guess what? It didn't matter. You did this all for false pretenses. Get stuffed, idiot. So after 10 to 11 minutes of the same move set, I finally get this man to his knees and get this dank little reference for the movie Old School because it sounds like I got a fucking dart in my neck. Just give me the key, man.
Walt, where is the key?
The dart, man. Got a fucking dart in your neck. You're crazy, man.
Mia comes in and tells me, oh my god, you're killing my dad, please stop beating his ass. And I'm like, alright, I guess, but what are you doing out of bed? You're supposed to be literally dying. And she throws a fit about something, and we knock the key away and it gets destroyed. You dumb fucking... As you can see, this game has completely worn out my ability to give a shit about their bad writing. I lost it right there laughing. I said a swear I usually don't like to say. This game is a mess at the end. It is really good at making me feel like... Naturally, me and Waltz then decide to put our differences aside to help this girl, and we get her back to her little hospice bed, presumably to meet her maker. I don't know how she's still alive without the key. Apparently it's no longer needed because the missiles are still launching and all that good shit. I guess we needed it to turn it off, but now that it's literally a pile of goop, we can't do that. So Lawan tells me that she has to manually detonate explosives on the rockets. And I know this is supposed to be some kind of moral conundrum. Do you save Lawan? Do you save your sister who's not actually your sister? I let Lawan blow that shit up so fast. Boy, oh boy, did I not want to see her anymore. And in letting her blow that up, Hakan went to go help, I guess, too, and I grabbed Mia. I think Waltz died, but I'm not sure. He's just sitting there, and we took off out of the place. We literally get outside, and she fucking dies. Spike decided to go and ask the bartender how I was doing, but without actually addressing me or who I am. And he tells him that I got infected from the crazy drug I was taking, but I saved the city. And my sister died, and I'm just leaving the city to go be a pilgrim. And that's great, because that means I can go and be totally alone.
People like him are better off on the road.
Well, at least I don't have to deal with Lawan anymore.
We'll be able to find work along the way?
God damn it.